Hello, I am Miss J, and today we are going to study the simple present. The simple present is used to talk about likes and dislikes, routines, and the frequency we do things every day. First of all, we have to remember the personal pronouns. For I, you, or we, and they, we conjugate the verbs in a different way from he, she, it. For he, she, it, there are some rules we have to follow to conjugate the verbs in the affirmative form. For verbs that end in Y and have a consonant before the Y, we drop the Y and we add I-E-S to the verb. For example, cry. He cries. Study. She studies. It's very important to remember that we are going to use these rules only in the affirmative form. Verbs ending in Y that have a vowel before, you don't drop the Y. Keep the Y and just add S to the verb. Example, he plays soccer. Verbs ending in O, S, SH, CH, X, and Z, we add ES to the verb for the person he, she, it. For example, go. I go, but he goes. Kiss. You kiss, but she kisses. Watch. You watch, but he watches. It's very important to remember. Again, you are going to conjugate the verbs for he, she, it in the simple present only in the affirmative form. Other verbs, we just add S to the verb in the affirmative form for the third person singular, he, she, it. For example, work. I work, but he works. Write. You write, but she writes. Visit. We visit, but he visits. The verb have. The verb have is an exception. We cut the last syllable, VE, and we add the letter S. For example, I say, I have, you have, we have, they have, but he has, she has, it has. the negative form, we have two special auxiliaries, don't and doesn't. We use don't for the persons I, you, we, and they. And we use doesn't for he, she, it. Since we have used don't and doesn't for the persons I, you, we, they, he, she, it, we don't conjugate the verb. The verb keeps the base form. For example, I go, I don't go. He goes, he doesn't go. I visit, I don't visit. You visit, she doesn't visit. I study, he studies. I don't study, he doesn't study. You watch, you don't watch. He watches, he doesn't watch. It happens because in the negative, in the simple present, we use the auxiliaries don't and doesn't. So every time we have the auxiliaries, we never conjugate the verb. This is the rule. Interrogative form, simple present. For the interrogative form, we use the auxiliaries do for the persons I, you, we, and they. And we use the auxiliary does for the persons he, she, it. Again, we have the auxiliaries. So when you have the auxiliaries, you never conjugate verbs. For example, I go to the supermarket. Do you go to the supermarket? I go to the supermarket. Does he go to the supermarket? I study geography. Does she study geography? I watch the soap opera every day. Does he watch the soap opera every day? I play the violin. Does he play the violin? So let's review. Simple present affirmative for the persons I, you, we, and they, the verb never changes. It keeps the base form. I go, you go, we go, they go. For the third person singular, he, she, it, we add s, es, or ies to the verbs depending on the ending of the verb. Okay? For example, he plays, he studies, she goes. Negative form. We use don't for I, you, we, and they, and doesn't for he, she, it. The verb doesn't change. It keeps the base form because we use the auxiliaries. Example, I don't go, I don't watch, they don't live. He doesn't go, she doesn't watch, it doesn't live. Finally, the interrogative. we use do for I, you, we, and they, and does for he, she, it. Example, do you like chocolate? Do they live in the city? Do we have to do this now? And for he, she, it, does he watch TV every night? Does she like to eat chocolate? Does it live here? Do you remember that I told you that we use the simple present to talk about likes and dislikes, routines, and frequency? So, to talk about frequency, we are going to use adverbs of frequency. They are always, generally, usually, often, sometimes, rarely, almost never, and never. The adverbs of frequency are used in the middle of the sentence between the person and the verb. For example, I always go to school. He never eats meat. As you can see, in the affirmative, we continue conjugating the verb. Again, example, she always watches TV. There is one adverb of frequency we can use in the beginning, in the middle, and in the end of the sentence. It's sometimes. You can say, sometimes I go to the gym. I sometimes go to the gym. I go to the gym sometimes. We can use the adverbs of frequency in the affirmative, in the negative, and in the interrogative forms. No problem. For example, I never drink soda. Do you usually drink soda? I don't usually drink soda. Other adverbs we use in the simple present are at the moment, at present, nowadays, and we always use composed expressions with every and a noun. For example, every day, every night, every week, every weekend, every month, every year, every class, and so on. Well, I really hope you have understood the rules of the simple present in English. They are really easy, and you just have to practice a little to understand and get ready to speak, okay? See you! Bye-bye!